Although Davante Adams has already basically been ruled out of this Thursday night matchup tomorrow night. That is prime time, premier football. Cardinals, Pack, how you doing? Keep it moving. This is game of the year thus far. Davante Adams out, Joe Barry out, and now Alan Lazard out, all because Uncle COVID is running a train through Lambeau. What the fuck is going on? This is not good news, Todd.
Yeah, I don't know. That one hurts because the Davante one was like, obviously huge news, but it seemed like this kind of just like slipped under the rug. Like we didn't really hear all day if there were going to be multiple other guys in the receivers room that were going to get it. I mean, Shefty alluded to it on Monday Night Football at halftime, but I hadn't really heard anything else, so I kind of just assumed they were going to have their full stable. But he does a lot. He's big in the run game, too. He's a great blocker. But I said before we came on air, I still feel like the Packers are going to win this game.
It does feel like one of those games where Aaron could potentially do something magical. And this could be a game with all the players out for Green Bay that are very important, and players coming back for the Cardinals off of the COVID list, like Chandler Jones coming back.
Yeah. Huge.
Game changer. Yeah. I mean, that is huge. So is this a game where the Cardinals, even though you would assume that with J.J. Watt, the guy who, he plays with busted nose.
Yeah, maybe we're just better.
Hey, maybe we're just better. I watched him turn an entire city upside fucking down when he scored a touchdown against us on a prime time. I mean, he was turned down for what was playing in Houston. And not only is he on every single page of the program down there, which he is, every commercial on the Jumbotron, then he was on offense, defense. I think he was even on special teams at one point, and turned down for what came on, where he either had a fumble recovery, an interception, a fucking touchdown, whatever it could have been, whatever J.J. Watt has done. He's standing on the bleachers going like this with that, and the whole crowd is singing along. I'm like, God damn, this guy's like a maestro. I don't know if J.J. Watt has it in him to have a letdown game, potentially because the other team doesn't have their full arsenal, but this is certainly a game that in years past, this young Cardinals team would potentially take their foot off the gas. I only know that because I have bet alongside this Cardinals team ever since I seen Kyler Murray hit a little stop and go and score a touchdown around a professional athlete. I was like, okay, that's a guy that is unstoppable. Then he has Hopkins on the team, and it was electrifying on defense. So I just bet alongside them. It was a heartbreaking year because some games they would show up, some games they would not. It would just be a completely different squad. Talked to Kyler Murray after the season. He said, we got to be more consistent every single day. We got to be consistent in our work, in our process, blah, blah, blah. They acknowledge it. It seems like they've turned the corner.
Yeah.
And they could, if that buzzsaw gets going tomorrow night, with the lack of Davante and now Lazard, and if that
very banged up in the secondary too,
and with the Cardinals potentially the way they can score, how they can score, the defense, how they can create turnovers, and not that the Green Bay Packers are, but that could get. Or I could see it being like a Packers game where they somehow make this a win, and Aaron Rodgers somehow does. You're gonna have to get like 7-8 points by the time this thing kicks off. Aaron Rodgers in 7 and a touchdown going into anywhere, you would think, I'm betting on Aaron Rodgers no matter what. And I think that's how people are viewing it, though, is this Cardinals team could be at the maturity level that they are like, hey, it doesn't matter who we're playing, how we're playing, what's on the team, what isn't on the team. We got a ball. And it's a big test tomorrow night. This is a massive game on the schedule.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, they have been consistent thus far. Notwithstanding cover, like they've only had a couple games where it was like, oh, okay, they could lose this. But outside of that, they've been pedal to the metal pretty much. But also, I do think they're going to win, but it is kind of easier going in. Not that you have like a built-in excuse because all these guys are expecting to win anyway, but it's like the offense is going to look much, if they do go out and they lose, it's like, okay, well, you had, 2 of your top receivers weren't playing. So, and hopefully that's not going to happen again for the rest of the season.
A big conversation about tomorrow is what's the risk-free same-game parlay?
Yeah.
We've been thinking about it.
Oh, yeah.
We've been keeping an eye on where COVID's been bouncing around in Lambeau, too.
That's right.
Because maybe Davante was definitely going to be a part of the same game parlay.
Oh, yeah. He would have scored.
Most likely.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Now do we think, Randall Cobb. Aaron and Randall, pretty pretty tight.
Yeah.
On the same page a lot.
Both
right.
just said they still got a bag of tricks they haven't unveiled yet. So
Look for Randall. Is that going to end up on the risk-free same-game parlay?
Whoa.
possibility.
Wow.
Aaron Jones probably gonna
Whoa.
have to have a big game.
Oh, so he's probably going to score?
He might find his way
Have
in there.
to.
Oh, and then you go on the other side. D-Hop's going to score, right? Yeah, D-Hop's going to score. And then we got to figure out who else. Will Ertz make it 2 for 2? You think Ertz is going to find the end zone? I'd assume there's a chance. So what I'm saying is, I think tomorrow's game is setting up nicely for how we go about doing risk-free same-game parlays. Now, the council will meet tomorrow morning. And we do hope that the NFL has announced completely who is in and who is out
Right.
by the time the council meets, because that was something that almost came into play last week, even though we didn't hit a single leg. There was somebody that was going to be, which I don't know if that's more impressive. I don't know if it's more impressive to hit 0 than having like 4 out of 5, which has happened a couple of times. Having 0 hit. But there was somebody who was going to potentially be on there that we took off last minute that ended up being ruled out of the game, and it was like, okay, kind of got the football gods going in our favor. Because what happens if we do that and then all of a sudden they're ruled out by the game? What do we do with the risk-free same-game parlay? What will FanDuel do? What will we do? How will we get around that? Or is that thing just null and void and we got to push back another week? Because I don't want that, because it's time for this thing to hit. It's time for the risk-free same-game parlay to make a lot of hay for a lot of people that are on the sport. I don't know how many states have FanDuel right now. I think it's 7, maybe 8. It's growing, I think, by the week. Some people know, I think, more than other people about when the states will be getting on board. So I think that's good news, because if we don't know, but maybe there is some conversations happening somewhere about states going on, that means they're probably close, and they could drop overnight.
Yeah.
There's a lot of handshaking. How you doing? Keep it moving. But this Thursday night football game with the Packers traveling into Arizona, with how the Bird Gang's playing and the Red Sea will be cheering, and how electrifying all of Phoenix will be.
Yeah.
It's setting up very well for our same-game parlay, and it's going to be an honor when this is the first one that hits.
Yeah.
It's going to be an absolute honor
yeah.
when this thing hits, because once one hits, guess what? Then we're just taking the lid off.
Yeah,
Boom.
that's right.
Boom. Then the bucket's a lot wider.
Switch.
You know what? The hole on the green's a little bit wider.
right.
All of a sudden, those putts that are 4 out of 5, 4 out of 5, 3 out of 4, rim and out, rim job city. Nah. Those ones, guess what? Falling.
In the bucket.
How you doing?
Keep it moving to the next one.